Yeah, baby. Oh, I know what time it is now. Oh, yeah. Things are getting out of hand. Yeah, things are getting out of hand. Turns chaotic, pissed by the hypnotic rhythm of the band. The ceiling's raining plaster, and now the walls begin to shake. We're absolutely crazed as we enter from the stage where the air will awake. And the words of make no mistake. You're ready for the ride. Hola, mi amigos, ¿qué haces? Bienvenido, todo el mundo, mi gente, está bueno, está bueno. Okay, so for me is, hold on, I can remember this, June 19th, that's it, June 19th, hold on, 2021. I'm on a roll. You know, watch this. 6:01 p.m. in Dallas, Texas. Yeah, baby. Yeah. I know my ABCs. I don't know what ABCs has to do with the time and temperature. No comprende. Ay, Dios mío, John. Háblame. O escuche. Oye. Okay. So, it is Saturday night, and I tried to start you off with a little Sexican, right? It's a sexy Mexican. Well, you'll look at the video later and you will see it's kind of cute and funny. All right, so let's get right to the meat of the matter, okay? Let's not screw around. We don't have a lot of time. 45 minutes, then we're done, okay? Everybody pay attention, tune in. Drop in, tune out. What is it? Drop out, tune in. No. Drop acid, tune out. No. I'll remember. Me and Timothy Leary, like that. Okay. So I'm not doing acid today, so let's keep rocking and rolling. It's now 6:03. We have, you, not me, you have killed 3 minutes already listening to this podcast. I hope it was worth it. I hope that it was worth every second of those 3 minutes that you spent listening to the podcast. Look, let's see if anybody recognizes that shirt. Kathy Green, who sent me that shirt. Little hippie, little hood. It speaks perfectly to who I am. Why am I talking like I'm wired up on meth or something and not making, there's like no sentence structure that you can predict. There's no, there's no segues. I'm just jumping from this to that without a transitional statement. I'm lacking the normal, how do you say, the normal rules of English speech and writing at the moment. I'm it's not that I'm butchering English language. I'm not. I'm butchering syntax. How's that? All right. Kathy gave me this shirt, little hippie, little hood. Bless her little heart. All right. So let me tell you about the last 48 hours. All right. I wasn't here last night because I went to the symphony. So let me tell you a little bit about how that all came about. So I got a friend, Wayne, and he's a season holder or something. I don't know what you call those guys, but he's got tickets throughout the Pops, Dallas Pops. There's different subscriptions. So clearly he couldn't get anybody else to go, so he called me up. I'm easy. Sure, I'll go. So and then should we get dinner before it? Absolutely. I mean, come on. How awkward would it be if we just met at the symphony, sat there, and then went our separate ways, right? No. Let's make a date of it. So he came by 5:30. We went and had some Italian food at a real Italian place, which is not that prevalent around here. For those that live in the area, you know of what I speak. So we went to the Roman Cucina and we shared some eggplant parmesan appetizer, and then we had our entrees, but couldn't eat but half my entree because I was full of eggplant parmesan. Anyways, you didn't come to hear about my food regimen. And so we finished there. We drove down to the Symphony Hall, and it was delightful. It was a Juneteenth celebration. It was kind of funny. Here's where I'm going. It was kind of funny. Juneteenth celebration. I'm going to just operate as if you know what Juneteenth is, since it's now a national holiday. So I'm not going to get into what is Juneteenth, the end of slavery, commemoration of the end of slavery. So we get there, and the program says, celebration of Juneteenth. And out come the musicians. And if you probably already guessed, not a black person amongst the musicians, right? The two black people on the stage were helping set it up. They were literally the lady, right? And the ushers, a lot of the ushers were black, Hispanic, and whatnot. Okay. So I'm kind of giggling to myself. I'm like, I wonder how's this work? I didn't read the playbill. I should have. What it turned out to be is magnificent, wonderful soprano. I can't remember her name, and I should have had it. Turn on, tune in, drop out. Thank you, Mark. Next time, could you a little faster so I don't have to start my podcast over again with that information. So maybe I'll just stand up and go look for the playbill. Anyways, marvelous soprano, and then this guy. She was black, he was black, baritone, I guess, bass, whatever you call him. And then they had one song. It was a harp, featuring the harp. And the young lady who played had just gotten her PhD locally at one of the universities, and in had to do with harp. And so she played this lovely. All of the compositions were created by black composers. So that worked out pretty good. Okay, this is really weird. I was on the phone. How did that happen? I heard people chewing. Anyways, moving right along. I made a phone call, folks, or I never hung up the phone. That's super weird. Anyways, so it was nice. They sang the Black National Anthem. I should have the program. Gonna get the program. This is awkward. Don't go away. I'm coming. I got it. I found it. So those are the two singers, and they were Kirsten Piper Brown was the soprano. The man, Kevin Diaz or Days or Dees, bass baritone, and Mallory McHenry was on the harp. She seemed quite much younger than the others, and they played, like, for instance, I'm going to tell you the name of the. They opened with Well, they opened with American Fanfare. That was all horns. That's okay. But the one I was trying to tell you about, Lift Every Voice and Sing, is apparently called a black national anthem. We actually stood for it. I mean, people around me started standing up, so I stood up. And so on and so on and so on. When it was over, came right home. I tried to go right to bed because my alarm clock went off at 4, 4, that's 4 a.m. because my buddy Paul was intimidated by the weather, and he wanted to get out while it was cool and get as much done. So up at 4, out the door at 4:35, running to him at 4:45. Boom shakalaka. That's a technical term. Boom shakalaka. Off we go to McKinney, Texas. We went about 40 miles before breakfast, had a little breakfast, light breakfast. He doesn't like to eat heavy, and I don't like to put him in a trick bag. So then we got home, 70 miles, 70 miles. But I'm like, I'm jonesing for some barbecue. So I get back on the bike and I go down to the farmer's market and I get some barbecue. I've talked about the place before. Got some chicken ribs and sausage. And then while I was there, I bought some cheese from the cheese lady, right? I got some chili hatch cheese concoction. And then I came home, put that food away, and then I rode to the bicycle shop because they have my bicycle. And you're thinking, but you just said you rode to the bicycle shop, because I have more than one bicycle. And one went in the shop yesterday for brakes, just like a car, right? So I get there and I say, I want to switch this bike for that bike. And then you can do whatever you think you need to do, tune up this bike. And while I was sitting there, they said, well, let's look at it and see what it needs. And they came back about 40 minutes later and said, dude, the bike's fine. So I rode home on the bike I rode there with. By the time I got home, 80 miles, right? The other bike is still at the bike shop. I didn't pick it up because I can't ride 2 bicycles at once. I dare any of you to ride 2 bicycles at once. You're not going to do it. Don't even try. Don't try. You're going to get hurt. Just stop. Stop and think about it. Do you hear me? Okay. So, and I got home and, showered, had a little barbecue, laid down, watched a little TV, took a 5-minute nap, and now here I am. Here I am, hours later. I was out a total of 8 hours, a total of 80 miles. Now, the 8 hours includes the breakfast and sitting probably 40 minutes at the bike shop. So it wasn't like I was pedaling for 8 hours. So, all right. So what do you want to talk about? Okay, let's talk about the music. Did you catch the theme? The title was, I Want to Ride My Bicycle. But then there was a non sequitur. I think that's what they call it. And it says, you keep looking for someone to tell your troubles to. I'll sit down and lend an ear, yet I hear nothing new. That's the Moody Blues, right? And I threw that in. It's gonna all make sense to you in a second. Be patient, everybody. Be patient. I put that in there because while I was riding this morning, that phrase, that song, that little stanza, whatever they call it, was running in my head persistently. So I thought, you know what? Let me put it out there. And then, as you know, Melanie, Brand New Key. I rode my bicycle past your window last night. Queen, Bicycle Race, Bicycle, Bicycle. And then the third one, Bicycle by John Cale. I have no idea why he called it Bicycle, but it's kind of a cool song. So I'm like, yo, it got into this package simply on the basis of the title, nothing more. Okay. So that explains that part of the show. A really big shoe. We have a really big shoe tonight. And so now begins my weekend, maybe for you, your weekend, because if you have to be up at 4 a.m. and you're going to go to the symphony at night, that's not a good start to the weekend. In other words, weekends are kind of like a little bit casual. Nothing casual about what I'm doing. I mean, I'm shoom, sa, pow. Bicycle. So now I'm chilling like a villain. All right. So I put this on my desk. Chicken breast burrito bowl. Why? Why did I suddenly at 6:15 p.m. in the midst of a podcast hold up a box which once contained three bowls of chicken breast burrito? It's a legitimate question you're asking yourselves, and I don't mind answering. You did ask, didn't you? You were curious, aren't you? Well, I think they're kind of delicious. I got them three to a box at Sam's Club, and I think they're tasty. They make for a pretty good quick meal. Minute and a half in the microwave, let it cool off. Boom chakalaka. Again with the technical terms. So one bowl has 390 calories. That's not that bad. Um, Only 90 calories from fat. That's really not that bad. Carbohydrates, 46. Sodium, anything in a package going to have a lot of sodium, right? Ingredients. First ingredient, chicken breast. That's good. Second ingredient, brown rice, white rice, black beans, fire roasted tomatoes. Come on, and more. That's pretty good. I'm going to get some more. And then, are you following this, guys? I mean, are you with me? Did I lose you? Come on. Are you slow? You're slow with it? Do I have to beat you with a belt? What do I need to do to get you to be productive member of society? What is required to reform and rehabilitate this group so that you will all be productive members of society and stop dragging the rest of us down? Stop being a lead weight on the legs of society. So I said lead weight. When I used to swim at the YMCA, the South Shore YMCA, they had this thing I didn't like at all. My doorbell just rang, but it ain't me. Let's see who it is. Let's see if it's anybody I know. I don't know. Hello? No, he's here, but I doesn't seem to be answering the door, does he? You're looking for Austin, yeah? Oh, there's no Fred Cook here. You got the right address, but there's nobody here by that name. Sure, you're welcome. Sorry. All right. Where were we? Guy looked like a process server, so I thought I'd better ask him what's up. But there's no Fred Cook here, so don't worry about it. All right. So, what were we talking about? Oh, so I was at the South Shore YMCA and I joined the swim club, swim something. I don't know. I was quite young. This is before I got to high school and didn't make the swim team. In case you've been following my life trajectory as I podcasted, okay? And one of the things they had us do was you put this, it was like a weighted rubber band around your legs, and then you had to swim with your arms only across the pool. Mostly I just sunk. So I'm not really enjoying it. So when they talk about lead weights, I always think of those rubber bands. And I think, yeah, you just kind of sink, right? All right. Um, have I got your attention now? Huh? Huh? Are you paying attention now? Okay. Let's keep going then. I have to kind of carry on this way as if I'm talking to somebody, as if somebody's actually reactive. It helps keep it moving if I act as if you just said something and then I said something in response rather than this soliloquy that I keep showing up, popping up, and just throwing out there every night, right? Okay. So I was reading this article and it really touched me. Let's see if I can find what I wanted to. Okay, so this is about Kenya, um, and the animals of Kenya are in jeopardy, as animals are everywhere. And this resonated with me today because when I rode to North McKinney in Texas today, I made the comment to my friend Paul that despite this significant open land still available only temporarily in McKinney, he and I have never seen deer or really very much wildlife. We've seen coyote, but that was closer in. I saw some bobcat kittens Thursday, but that was closer in. I'm talking about going out where there's more greenery, and yet I don't see any deer. Um, and I just don't know why. I mean, I can go to Chicago and drive a bicycle through the forest preserve and see deer all the time, and that's a much bigger metropolitan area, much more crowded. So, anyways, I made the comment to Paul that first off, don't see deer, and then we got to this large tract of land. It's like a farm, large, and signs were up. This is far north as we go. And it said zoning change requested. This is the thing like now you've been notified, you want to object, you got to go to the political meeting, right? So I said, wow, this is all going to be gone. These animals are just losing out. All the open space in the Dallas area is shrinking. I said to him, how many homes can you fit on this one ranch or farm that was on our left-hand side? It looked like a sizable tract of land, but I don't know how much of a footprint a house takes. He said uh, thousands. I'm like, my God, we won't be able to bicycle there soon because once a tract is turned over for development, I will tell you what happens. They start staking it out, and then the cement trucks start coming and they tear up the road because the road's not meant for cement trucks. Cement trucks are very heavy. The workers start coming in their pickup trucks and tearing up the road and creating traffic. And it just eventually, it's not good. It's not good. So then I came home and I'm reading about Kenya. And it says here, ba 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 Baran, ba 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 Baran, take my hand, ba Baran. Okay, I found what I'm looking for. 50 years ago, Kenya had, check this out, 160,000 elephants. Only 50 years ago, 160,000 elephants. Today, there are approximately 35,000. That's a decimation of a population. It also had a population of 20,000 black rhinos, now down to 1,000, decimated. And then there are only two northern white rhinos in existence, okay? Lions, cheetahs, giraffes, hyenas, and wild dogs are all endangered. Animals are subject to poachers and cattle herders who use guns, snares, and poison. They're being wiped out in addition by the new roads, what I was just talking about, new power lines, mushrooming towns, overgrazed, shrinking rangelands. It's just like I'm not, I know there's this endangered species list that gets referred to. So the Sierra Club may sue a developer and say, well, you can't do this because that's the home of the blue lizard fish, whatever, right? And then if there's evidence of that, then I don't know who it is, some Bureau of Wildlife, some does a study and says, yeah, if you do this, you'll destroy forever the blue lizard fish. So we're not going to let them issue permit. But more often than not, unless there's something significant, they just don't care. If there's more bobcat, if there's more coyote, if there's more whatever, elsewhere, it's like, yeah, go ahead. What's the big deal? We act as though this dominion over the earth, as referred to in the Bible, was somehow permission to decimate all the species, including ourselves, right? And so I'm here to advocate on behalf of all these species. I don't get it, and you probably don't get it. Most of you don't get it. Why we have this mental attitude that we can destroy whatever we want in the name of comfort. Look at houses, man. I mean, they're just, they're a carbon footprint. They're space gluts. People build big homes for 3 people, 2 parents and a kid, right? We've been driving by Craig Ranch. It's part of McKinney, and it's South McKinney. And here's the thing. They've been building and building and building for years and years and years. And we've been bicycling there for about 6 years. We go by. Well, they've been building this whole apartment complex lately. And Paul knows about it because he's a roofer and he's got the contract to do the roof. So he knows quite a bit. Well, we were coming up now for about a year when we go by this construction site. It's a lot of pickup trucks, a lot of workers, no residents. Come back a block south, they finished that building last year, filled up quick, right? Now this one, we come around the corner, there's cars lined up on both sides of the street outside the complex. It's open. They must have sold the crap out of it immediately. Sold it, rented it, whatever they're doing. And he says it's just phase 1. And it's already big. Phase 1, they're going to put in more apartments. They're going to put in more houses. And the animals are going to run out of space that they can thrive in because it'd be a natural habitat. So they're struggling to survive in an unnatural habitat. All right, anybody there? I need some water. Excuse me. I'm going to tell you something. I would never go out and buy smart water, I don't think. Typically, somebody gave me a couple of bottles of it, and I want to tell you, these bottles are good, man. They really hold up. I recycle them. I keep filling them with water, and I'm delighted. I'm delighted with them. They're much sturdier than most cheap water bottles you get. You know, the ones you get in Nestle and stuff that just crumble like they're nothing. Not this. No, keep filling it with water for months. Thank you, Kathy. So you can't go anywhere, Kathy. I'm wearing your shirt. All right, it's 6:28. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I've talked about animals because it's a sore spot with me. When I bicycle, and when you drive, you see this, but you're removed from it in a car. When you're on a bicycle, it's right there in front of you. And what I'm talking about is dead squirrels and dead rabbits and some dead birds. It hurts me. I get tired of all the carnage. I mean, I don't go out on one of my rides, and this is the truth, without seeing a dozen dead squirrels, right? And that just hurts. It's like squirrels ain't doing nobody no harm. I know in Chicago people hate squirrels. They call them what do they call them? I don't know. They got bad names for them. They say, oh, they get in your attic and they chew up your attic. Well, I haven't had that problem yet. Knock on wood. They just look like little furry things. You know, I mean, mice don't bother me. Rats scare me a little bit because they supposedly carry more disease than mice. But, you know, in the main, they leave me alone. So it really pains me to see this destruction of what I would call natural habitats in order to create these unnatural habitats. Listen, people need housing. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against housing, but people are overhoused. I just made that up. I myself felt bad after my divorce because the wife was gone. One daughter was gone. It was just me and one daughter living in a 3-bedroom house with a big room upstairs nobody's using. And I don't need this much space. And then Stacia left. She moved in with her mom. I had the whole house to myself for, I don't know, 6 months or so. By the way, we were renting out a room. As soon as my ex-wife was gone, we started renting out the room. So there was 3 of us here. So I didn't feel like so much of a space glut. But then I didn't have a tenant. The pandemic came and the tenant left, okay, in August. She left in March, but she officially terminated staying here in August. She kept paying me rent for a while. So from August until, I don't know, February or something, I lived here by myself. I felt guilty. I'm like, oh, who needs all this space, right? But when I tried to move in a smaller space, it wasn't practical because I would pay as much for a smaller space as I do for this space, yada yada, right? So, but I see homes everywhere I go. I see homes, and nobody's building little homes. They're all building sizable homes, and some of them are ridiculous, ridiculous. Did I tell you there's a development, 400,000 above, next door to Home Depot, and the homes that are on the south end of the development, as 2-story homes, can see over the fence into Home Depot's parking lot? Why would I spend $400,000 to get a view of Home Depot? Shoot, not in this lifetime. I got 400,000. I'm gonna spend on a house. I'm gonna get me a view. I don't know what kind of view. Might just be one tree. I promise you, I'm gonna get me a view. Anyways, so I'm troubled. I'm troubled by our willingness, not mine, but so many people to just there's a street here called Straight Lane, Strait. Perot lived on it. The billionaire lived on it. A lot of very rich people. I mean, they're the closed. You know what do they call that? The gate that closes, so you can't get in unless they open it, and the walls. I mean, their gates cost more than my home, possibly. I mean, these are big, magnificent moving gates and stuff. Some of them have private security cars parked in their driveway, you know. So, anyways, I'm telling you, these homes are humongous. I've never met a really large or super large family that said, "Yeah, we live in one of those mansions on Straight Lane." I mean, Ross Perot and his wife pretty much lived alone except for whatever staff they had. I mean, his kid, Perot Jr., had his own mansion somewhere. I know this for a fact. So I don't get it. But I'm not troubled how much space you take if it didn't infringe upon the space of those who thrive in a natural habitat. By natural habitat, I mean flora, fauna, grass, whatever it is that's needed, you know. All right, I'm tired of pissing and moaning about this stuff. Kathy says that very kind of building is going on in Florida too. It's probably going on all over, all over. Texas is a big growth because we don't have a personal income tax, which is deceiving because we pay through the nose for other things, and in some ways we get nothing from the state government here. We don't give them state income tax, and they don't give us anything in return. I would rather pay, we'd all like kick in together, pay the state, and then the state would do things like maintain roads and, monitor the ecology, little stuff. So I have been talking without taking a breath now for 34 minutes. I think that it's important every now and then to take a breath. And so I'm going to. No, Rose, it's not called a gated community. I know why you thought that from my description. No, I'm talking about homes, single family homes that have large gates. That's what I was referring to when I talked about gated. There are many gated communities around here, but the gates I'm referencing are they're single family homes. They're millionaires and billionaires. And it says, I especially don't like developments with large houses with like 2 feet in between. So, and I'm driving around, I'm bicycling around McKinney, Frisco, Allen, um, Plano, and they're putting up these big homes and they have almost zero lot lines. And I say to my friends, I say the whole point of moving to the suburbs and buying a big home was so you'd have more space for your kids playing. But a lot of these communities, I guess the trick now is they build a community park and a community pool. And so you don't have a backyard to maintain, you don't have a side yard to maintain, you have community area and you pay homeowners fees and they maintain the pool and the tennis courts and the walking, jogging trails and walking trails. So, but like I say, I tell my friends, I say, people move to suburbs for more area. They wanted space between their home and the next home. And you don't see that anymore. You're absolutely right, Ann. And it befuddles me. Um, but I don't live in any of those. So I don't know how cool the common area may be. Is it worth the offset? I don't know. So I sneak into a lot of those communities um, and sit by their ponds and meditate because they all have ponds nowadays. I'm surprised you can get a home for Lowe's 400,000. Yeah, I will tell you, Mark, that most of the developments that I see say starting in the low 400s. Now, one is next to Home Depot, another one's next to the George Bush Turnpike. I mean, I guess if they're in a nice area, they're probably more expensive. My home is a duplex. I have a common wall with my neighbor, so we're not heating and cooling all four sides. She and I only cool and heat three sides. I think that's environmentally effective and reduces the overall cost of maintenance. And so I live fairly modestly. I don't have a driveway. I've got, the alley. You pull in off the alley into my garage. I got a postage stamp front yard. I got a postage stamp backyard. Postage stamp means small. So I'm not the greatest consumer. My home is now being touted by Zillow is going up in value significantly and approaching 4, but it's not worth 4. I don't think Zillow knows what's going on, but Zillow does know that single family homes a block or 2 blocks from here, 1 block, 2 blocks away, are turning over at much higher prices. So I think they're extrapolating, but I don't think they're doing me justice when they're telling me my home is worth what they say it's worth, because single family homes based on square footage say they're going for $123 square foot. Well, they're offering backyards, front yards, driveway. I don't know, single family. They don't share a wall. They're generally, I think, more desirable to the general consumer. I like duplexes. This is the second duplex I've lived in and owned. Um, so, anyways, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. So I see that the Becky and Chris couldn't make it tonight. I'm sorry to miss them. I'm a little dehydrated, I think. This is just a guess because, one, I bicycled a lot and I thought I hydrated, but I think afterwards, and then I ate some barbecue, which is salty, right? Let me tell you, I woke up this morning and I hadn't used my scale in a while, right? I got on it, didn't work. Battery was dead, which didn't surprise me. I've had this thing forever. Changed the battery. And then this morning, for the first time in a long time, I got on it. I've gained almost 20 pounds since Thailand. Not happy, right? So I get on, it says, first thing in the morning, I'm already 172 pounds. I'm like, oh man, I was 155 when I got back from Thailand. So I went out and I rode, and typically I don't lose a lot of weight riding, but I probably sweated out 6 pounds, 166 when I got home. I will bet you that by the time I finish hydrating, I will weigh every bit of that 172 pounds again. I got to stop eating all that sugar. I got to stop eating ice cream and pies and cakes and cupcakes and chocolate milk and milkshakes and whatever I'm doing. It ain't healthy. So I'm going to start tapering off. We'll see if it works. I got to lose weight because the pants I wore, the Symphony, they were the right size for a guy that's smaller. And so I'm sitting the Symphony and the waistband is cutting into my body. I couldn't take my pants off at the Symphony or at the restaurant. I loosened them underneath my shirt, but that's the best I could do. And I got news for you. It still hurt. All right. So it's 6:41. It's almost time to wrap it up. I hope you all enjoyed this segment of Law and Disorder with your host, Ken Goldberg. I hope you'll enjoy the music. I think that soon we need to do an homage to the Moody Blues. I posted a lyric from the Moody Blues. I think that we need maybe to do a complete homage in the music section. Melancholy Man's, Question of Balance. Well, that's the name of the album, I think. Your Wildest Dream, In the Beginning, Dear Diary. They just, they were something else. They really were. I never saw them live. I never even thought about seeing them live. I don't know why. I think they performed live at Red Rock. I know they performed live in other places, but I never saw them. I don't know what they look like. If one walked up and slapped me, I wouldn't know it was him. I'd slap him back. But they did a lot of interesting lyric songs. They really did, The melodies and the lyrics were touching, very poignant in many cases, sometimes befuddling. I don't know if you noticed that. Sometimes I'm like, huh? What did that mean? But other songs just struck a chord with me. Melancholy Man, because I told y'all, I suffer from melancholy periodically that I can't really put my finger on. So for me to have a song that talks about some of the stuff that goes on in my head, it was cool. It's cool. All right. Any questions before I go? Any answers before I go? Joan saw the Moody Blues perform with the Dallas Symphony. They did perform with symphonies. That was their first album was with a symphony, wasn't it? She says that show was awesome. Go ahead, rub it in, Joan. You got to see him, I didn't. Well, guess what? I saw Jimi Hendrix live in Chicago. How about you? Just messing with you, girl. I did see Jimi Hendrix, but I'm not really trying to compete with the Moody Blues performance. Although I am honestly envious. I see Velvet joined us sometime during the show. Welcome, Velvet. All right. Have you seen Melancholia? I don't remember. It sounds familiar. Let me see here. Melancholia. Let me just Google that right quick. Two sisters find their already strange relationship challenged as a mysterious new planet threatens to collide with Earth. I think I started to see that, and I don't think I stayed. I think it was too slow. Yeah, I knew it was a film. I know I have some tangential relationship to the film, but I don't remember what it is. Oh, I see Velvet's on the move. So, I might have to give it another shot. Why? Is it good? Or are you just thinking of, you just thought it because I said melancholy? Great film. Well, I'm going to have to give it a new try. Is it on Hulu? Well, best if it's on Netflix because I still have a Netflix account. Hugs and love to Velvet. Velvet gets a lot of love and hugs up in this place. She demands it. When I lay down on the bed, she will get up and lay down next to me, and then at some point she will push her head under my arm until I deal with her. Pet her, snuggle with her. She's very demanding. A favorite. Wow, I'm gonna have to look because I have this vague recollection that something about it I didn't like, but I may be wrong. It may be a different movie, or maybe I was in an altered state. I don't know. So I promise I will look for it. I don't promise I'll watch it all the way through, but I'll look for it. Because when things happen, when somebody recommends something, you know, give it a shot. I'm taking off tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday. I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be here, but I'm not going to be here. You know what I mean? I'm going to be right over there on the bed. I'll be about 5 feet away. Velvet's sitting there on the bed as we speak here. I really shouldn't let you see my bed because I didn't make it. Look at my desk. God, what a freaking mess. I should be doing meta. I shouldn't be showing you my backyard, my little enclosed porch, screened-in porch. I don't know why I got started on that. A demanding woman. Velvet indeed is. And the other two cats are boys. This doesn't mean they're not demanding, but Velvet's the queen of the house. All right, my daughters are coming back from Korea on Monday. I don't know when I'll see them, but I don't know why I bothered telling you. It's not like they're going to show up here on my podcast. All right, I bring my hands together before my heart. I take a deep breath. Closing my eyes, I think to myself, may I be happy, healthy, and free from harm, free from anger, anxiety, and fear. May this practice of ours lead me to a place of greater peace and comfort. And my mother and father, all my family members, and all my friends, I send them metta. May they be happy, healthy, free from all harm. May they too find the path that leads them to greater peace and comfort in their lives. To those persons I find difficult, please take a second to think who might be on that list, who you might resent, who you may harbor some ill will towards. I could probably spend a half day on that. Let's send them goodwill. May they be happy, healthy, and free from harm. May they be enjoying their lives as we speak in comfort and peace. And finally, to all living beings throughout the universe, humans and non-humans, may they be the beneficiary of our collective goodwill, our metta, our compassion. May they all be happy, healthy, free from harm. May all living beings be safe, comfortable, and at peace. Satu, Satu, Satu. Thank you very much. Thank you, Joan and Rose and Kathy, Mark and Ann and Rachel and Kathy. Small crowd tonight. Small crowd. That's groovy, though. You know what? You guys are all I need. There's a song in there somewhere. I'm going to work on the lyrics tonight. Okay. A little hippie, a little hood. Peace out.